Morelli.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Appreciate this hearing, and thank you all for being here and for testifying. I just wanted to make a general observation, first of all. I do get the sense that sometimes people think that critical questions are unpatriotic, weak, or defeatist. I just want to say for the record, I don't think that's the truth. I think it's the opposite. And I appreciate, General Kane, you've mentioned civilian leadership and civilian control a number of times in your testimony this morning. We're the Congress. Civilian control that you have talked about begins and ends here, and that's the way the founders put in Article 1 responsibility for funding and for declarations of war with the United States Congress. So I want to just mention that because I hear it all the time, and we are not in any way, when we ask critical questions, demeaning or in any way reducing our tremendous respect for the men and women of the military, the joint forces of the United States. So I feel like that needs to be said, and I appreciate the comments that you made, General Kane, about civilian control. Second, as it relates to mandatory spending versus discretionary, I think this is really important. This committee, the Appropriations Committee and the Defense Subcommittee, is given the responsibility by the Congress and by the American people to make sure that we have an appreciation for all the dollars, taxpayer dollars, that go into defending this nation. And questions, again, ought to be here. Transparency begins here. Oversight begins here. And mandatory spending avoids the responsibility this committee has to report to the American people on how our money is being spent. So I just, again, want to stress how important it is. I appreciate my friend Mr. Elsey's comments about the $1.5 trillion request. If it is so obvious to everyone and to the American people that that's the dollar amount we need, we ought not be going through this mandatory, discretionary, supplemental. Let's put it all on the table and let's make the case to the American people. You know, we've now waited since February 28th is, by my count, 11 weeks, 74 days since hostilities began in Iran, and trying to get a reporting of the dollars that have been spent in this has been excruciating, and it's been long. I think General Washington reported quicker to the Continental Congress than this has been in terms of reports to the United States Congress. And I would just in the strongest terms urge that we move forward and give this committee a full reporting on what the cost of this endeavor has been. With that, I didn't want to make a quick, you mentioned Mr. Secretary, in your opening comments about private companies making private investments in our defense. I assume they're getting compensated for the investment. When you say private investment, are you suggesting companies are making investments for which they will not be compensated?
Yes, I am, Congressman.
Why would they do that?
Because we're turning it, it's the right question, because we've done it one way for years and years and gotten the same results. So this is changing the paradigm. Companies now know we're going to give them orders for 5 to 7 years on exquisite munitions in exchange for them paying for capitalization of their own plants. We used to pay for them to build their plants and then buy the munitions from them. So now, because they know they got consistent income.
But they are. No, I appreciate what you're saying. They're upfronting costs.
The primes are now paying for their own plants and equipment. That is a brand new paradigm. The taxpayer's not paying for it. That's $50 billion of value that you don't have to appropriate because the companies are paying for it themselves.
And the companies will not get compensated. They're going to make that as a charitable contribution to the United States government.
Their compensation is long lead times of munitions that they will produce and we will pay for in the future, but we don't have to build the factories.
Just to be clear.
I mean, this is how private business works.
My time. I just want to be clear. Wait,
build their
Mr.
own
Secretary,
factories.
I appreciate what you're saying, but let's not, I mean, let's be honest. They're going to get compensated. Look, I'm for that, and I appreciate what you're saying in terms of lead time and dependability and reliability of funding, but let's be clear. I want to switch topics if I can for a second. There's been much reported about the president's trip to China, and I appreciate, again, my colleagues who have raised Indo-PACOM and its defense. There are weapons sales which have been on hold that the president has not authorized to Taiwan, and I wonder if you could give me an update, either Mr. Secretary or General Kane, on what the status of those weapon sales are at this point.
I just want to say that the primes will be paying for those factories out of their own pocket, not the department's money or the taxpayers' money, which is a sea change, which is why I think this budget
They're going to get a return on their investment, which, by the way, this is America.
We welcome a return on investment.
Yes, I understand, but they're not paying for it out of their pocket and not getting compensated. But anyway, could you answer my question about Taiwan?
Buildings
Arms sales?
cost money, and if
Yeah,
we're giving them $2 billion to build the factory, that's taxpayer money. If they're using it out of their own hide, that's $2 billion saved for the American people that then we can appropriate toward munitions that we pay for in the future. I know it's difficult to grasp.
It's not
but it's what
difficult to
happens when
grasp, sir.
businessmen take control of the department.
It's a different way of getting to the same place. You're going to pay for it. The United States, and look, we ought to. They're building things for us, but to suggest that somehow they're making an investment that they're not going to get compensated through sales is just, it's honestly kind of ridiculous.
We used to pay for the building too, and then pay for the sales. And now we're paying for the sales, but not the building, which I think is a good.
And they're not embedding that in the
American
price
taxpayer.
of the things that they're selling to us.
The
The
price-
capitalization, the CapEx that they're putting into it, they're going to get back. Look, I don't know
They're
why
paying
we're
for
even
it.
arguing about it.
They're paying for it.
Could you answer my question about Taiwan arms
Well,
sales?
that's, the president's on the cusp of a trip, and I'll be with him, and he will make all the decisions related to that.
I
I
yield
think the
back.
gentleman's time has expired. Make a quick point. There is a change. The industrial base is putting money at risk with the expectation of orders, but there is no guarantee if, in fact, that particular product that they may make is not met or meet the standards in which we want to acquire it. And that is a significant change in what we've done in the past.